will jump in once he looks for the link. Okay, so we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 7:46 a.m. We have a quorum. And is there any public comment? Nope, not waiting. Nobody's waiting in the lobby, Bill. Okay. All right, then first up is approval of the February 2022 minutes, which I sent out with the agenda last week. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Vince. Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jens. Okay, any discussion, corrections, anything I missed?
I think my name should be taken off the technical stuff. But Ryan is doing all the technical work anyway, so.
Okay, I will make that correction. Anything else? Okay, change technical to. Okay, with that, correction, I'm going to call the vote. Everybody in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, on to finances. So I think I sent out the 2021 budget status. We are in good shape, mostly because we haven't used most of our videographer budget. I am trying to move up getting the, oh my God, Laura.
The streaming channel, the over-the-top channel.
Right. Try to get that executed like now. We have to get 3 bids and get it ordered and receive it before the end of the fiscal year for me to get the Board of Finance to move money out of the videographer budget into the capital budget. So Laura is trying to get me those 3 bids, and then I will go to the Board of Finance, which I'm confident we can get approval. The key is just going to be able to say, all right, the second we have the green light, we'll order it, and we are confident that we'll get it in before June 30th, just to, especially if we're going back to in-person meetings, if that's the potential. Like I said, everything else looks like it's on track. And as far as so any questions on this fiscal year's budget? Okay, so then next year's, where we stood at the last meeting was that the Board of Finance hearing was coming up on March 15th. That was pretty uneventful. Some questions, approved the budget as is, also had the Finance Committee of the Town Council hearing. Again, uneventful. They literally had no questions for me. So the budget is as stands, and it goes to vote next week, right, Bill? For full Town Council. So I don't expect there'll be any other changes. So I think we're in very good shape for the fiscal year that starts July 1st. Okay, programming. Laura, and I had a subset there about recruiting videographers, so I want to make sure you touch base on that.
Yeah, we've still been working on that. Rainey, Brian's partner, has been stepping up and doing some videography. She's taken to it very well and very quickly, which is great. Very helpful. Rainey and Matt Schlenk, who has been a videographer with us for a while, have been stepping up in a really big way. So they're covering a lot of sports and a lot of school concerts. So that's been helping us in terms of getting more non-government programming, which is especially helpful post-COVID, now that things are slowly starting to move back to, whatever normal is going to be. But we are, like, Drew reached out and asked if we needed help over the summer. Unfortunately, that's a much slower time for us, but I'm more than happy to keep him involved. But on May 4th, Ryan and I have a meeting with Todd Manuel, who's, as most of you know, is the Sea House principal, to discuss getting AV Club back up and running. So if we can't get kids before the end of the year, hopefully come the fall, we'll be able to. And then the other great thing is, I want to say his name is Jim or Joe. He's one of the industrial arts teachers, like the tech ed department teachers, came in one morning and he was looking for a drone. And I said, well, yeah, we happen to have a drone. It's a little banged up, but if your students can fix it, please use it. And then we got into this whole conversation about getting kids in the studio, and using the studio with the students. So, and he said, oh, we have a department meeting today. Do you want me to bring it up with my department chair? I said, yes, please. So he's all interested. Again, Nick is a great guy, but he hasn't really had a lot of interest, or he hasn't really shown a lot of interest as far as furthering our relationship. So if we have to go through his department chair, that's fine. We have somebody else who's on board. And then on that topic, I happened to sit next to Lucinda Timpanelli last night at the THS Band and Strings concert. And she knows that I work at the station. So we were talking about things. And actually, it was very interesting, Kate, you'll appreciate this. One of the lights on the stage where the band director was standing to light him went out. And she's like, oh, if Ralph were here, this would never happen. And I'm like, well, so it was just kind of funny. So, she was like, oh, this is not acceptable. And we were talking about the TV station and I told her, I said, I'm trying to get kids, I want students in there. We want to work with the schools. I said, I looked at what other, other high schools in the district offer. So she's like, oh yeah, we definitely have to do this. So I don't, for that and $1, we can get a cup of coffee, but at the very least, I know that Lucinda, agrees that we do want to have more. Cause she said, I don't know, it was stuff that, there were teachers I didn't know that when it was the studio used to be under a different department academically. And that teacher had a lot more going on as far as video production. And I said, there's so many, cross-curricular ways we could.
It used to be, no, it's always under business and business technology. It
was under business, but now she said it's under like industrial arts, because the way that teachers are certified, like I actually looked into when Sean was doing his certification, I looked into possibly cross-endorsing, but I would have to be a tech ed teacher, which means I would have to know electronics and industrial arts and all those other things, which I decided was not worth pursuing.
And that was Deb Owens that worked with Ralph Pascal.
That's
Advanced video. Yeah.
Yeah, so that when she was doing it, they had a lot more stuff happening. But now that it's kind of, I think because of the educational endorsement, the teaching certification, Kate, it falls under with, CAD CAM, industrial arts, and those types of things. That's how the teacher certification is classified. It's not.
Another thing that I can find fine arts, and then I'm on the Toronto High website right now. I can find, there's business technology, consumer science, and that's where Nick Dodonna is. There's a Joe Amaturo in that department, but Christina Rosati is the chair. So
Joe Amaturo is the one who came looking for the drone, who I had that conversation with, and Ryan was there when he came as a follow-up, and he's like, oh yeah, she's all on board. So we have the support. It's just maybe Joe is the person I pursue.
You got to find that. That's the key, is finding somebody that's into it, right? So maybe we finally found the guy.
Right.
And that is the department that Todd used to be in when he was a teacher. So,
okay.
So that this is all going to tie together and hopefully make sense to Todd.
Right. And then, like I said, I mean, just the incidental conversation with Lucinda, she's on board with that as well. Because I said, there's so many ways this can tie in with curriculum, with, English language arts, with social studies, history, all these different things. And she's like, oh, absolutely. So at the very least, we have anecdotal support from the Board of Ed. So that is, that's the status on that. But hopefully the AV club discussion will help us. Hopefully Ryan can at least get some groundwork laid so that once September starts, we can get some more students who are interested in doing this.
And I think when you talk to Todd, talk specifically about Joe. If he's the guy that's shown interest and Nick hasn't been that into it, that every program that I've, when I was on the charter advisory board, every town that was represented that had engagement going on at the high school, it was because there was a teacher,
Yeah,
whether it was the head of the media center or whatever, that was just really into it and driving it. And that's what we've been missing.
yeah, we need a champion.
Yeah, exactly. So if Joe can be that guy and Christina's on board and Todd's on board, then we're going to be in really good shape.
Absolutely.
Jeff, would you say that's true?
I had a question for Ryan. I know you work at, is it Fairfield? At the school system down there?
Both Fairfield University and Fair TV, which is their like government, like private recording company.
Mm-hmm. But they have a couple of high schools, I believe. Do they have similar? Do you know of any similar programs they have to what we're trying to?
Not in particular. No, I haven't. Like Ludlow or Ward, I haven't heard anything like that. No.
Okay. There is a, RCA here in Trumbull has a media program.
That's right.
I've hired videographers from them for stuff I've been doing, and this is really to Laura and Kate. It's a mixed bag, but they do. It is a 4-year, high school focus for them. So they have a new teacher who is responsible for that particular program. He's only been there I think since Christmas, maybe maybe this whole year. But he's extremely capable. He live streams stuff which they never used to do.
Oh, wow.
And he has, he's on the ball. He's a young guy, and he's actually an alumni of RCA.
So do you know his name?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but he's the one I spoke to the principal over there to ask if they had students who were willing to, come out and help with filming, and that's how I got in touch with him.
And Jens, you find that they're okay with just doing straight recording? Because I know I'd asked a couple of my friends who have kids who are interested in video production for college, and a lot of them like, well, they only want to record what they can edit.
I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I would think as part of their, it's their education, right? Or at least part half day, the afternoon. That's when they are at RCA. So they have picked this presumably because they want to do this for a living, or maybe they certainly have interest. So I would think anything that would give experience. I don't, but of course it's up to the individual. But I'll give you the names, or maybe I'll just contact the guy and say, hey.
Maybe you can just get it online, Laura, whoever.
Yeah, okay.
The media program person is.
I have several emails from him. I just can't. I can't find them right now. But that's an option for videographers. Obviously, it would be preferable if they were from Trumbull High, because that's where the studio is.
Right.
But if you really need videographers, as in we can't cover this because we don't have any, then this could be a solution, maybe temporary.
Okay. Thanks, Jens. We will definitely look into that.
I think there's multiple ways we can use students. Now, videographers, more in studio stuff. I'm sure, Ryan, there's other technology stuff that we could be. I mean, it's not. There's a rich opportunity here.
They don't
Jeff, to your knowledge,
don't have the equipment that we have. Not even close. I mean, their cameras are old. The switcher we have in the studio and the cameras we have in the studio is far superior to what they have. So that may be attractive to them too.
So Jeff, is there anybody else that you know within the school system that we need to be covering?
As far as the studio, or as far as working with students or working with teachers?
Any of the above. I'm just going to go close my door.
Okay. The only thing that I think would link to everything is the auditorium at Trumbull High. And I see Laura shaking her head. My understanding is Mark Garino is going to meet with Todd about that, and Matt Barasic again. Right now, there's nobody I hate to say it, nobody charge. I helped the New Life Church because they needed some video and some Wi-Fi for their mass Sunday. They're a pleasure to work with. They brought all their own equipment. We got them connected to the Wi-Fi. We prayed and kicked the projector in the ceiling to make sure the projector would work, and it turned on, which I'm really happy about that. Because last I knew, Everett said it was broken, doesn't work. The microphones were set up. I'm not sure who did that already, but that's a need, I think, for the district. And I think, again, it integrates with the studio and what you're doing, Laura.
And that was, yeah, that's funny. That was
think
another
that's
topic
huge.
that, yeah, I
That's
know
huge.
that was another topic because Todd had come over and chatted with Lucinda and myself, and that was another topic that had come up.
Mhm.
Okay, good. So you have a lot of things to talk to Todd about.
Yes. Oh, yes. Including graduation, because it's another thing that's coming up. And we haven't had that meeting yet. So but I think, again, I have to reach out again, but at this point, I feel pretty confident that we will have enough people to cover it in terms of videographers. And then Ryan's going to get his chance to try being technical director and call in the show. Yeah.
Yay.
Nothing like baptism by fire. It's only like the biggest event where like last year, Mark was like, you can't mess this up. This is going to work, right? So no pressure, Ryan, but it's all good.
He looks cool, calm and collected. So
Perfect. Perfect. As long as, it's like a duck where you're calm above the water and frantically paddling beneath. It's all good.
Mhm.
And then,
Right.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
the graduation is June.
It's Thursday, the 16th, I believe. And we're gonna have to plan for that's it. It's either gonna be inside or outside. Hold on, my dog is confused by my power cable. You'll go underneath. That's it. It's either gonna be inside or outside. They're gonna call it by 11. So we're actually gonna have to prep for both. And just see what happens. We'll take it the day of. So, and Richie was very cute. He came in yesterday. He's like, the Smile group, they plan to play that day. He's like, I can't do that. I'm doing graduation. So,
Are we doing the video and somebody else is doing the audio, the PA?
that's what happened in the past, and that's what I'm more comfortable with because
Okay, yeah,
they
that
come in
sounds
with
good.
like, I mean, they, I don't know if you saw last year yet, but like they came in with a tent and they had like, mixing boards, cables and
Yeah.
stuff.
No,
I'm like,
I don't. We can't.
I'm happy to let them do that and just take a really long XLR cable and plug it in to our camera and take their audio.
Yeah.
So that's graduation. We haven't, like I said, we haven't had much more discussion than that, but at least having done it last year, I feel better about, just getting everything put in place. Yeah, we've got the headsets, so we're cool with that.
But
Oh,
you're
and
not going to be there, and I'm not going to be there because we're going to be in the.
we're
in
going to
the
be up in the
audience.
stands, yeah. Or maybe we can just hang behind the table to get really good seats. I was teasing my freshman because he's in the high, he's in the symphonic band and they have to play Pomp and Circumstance. I'm like, you're going to have a better seat for watching your brother get his diploma than your father and I are. So, there's that. But yesterday, Ryan and I were over at Long Hill with Jeff because Rob from DNR came to go over the TriCaster. So just to give you a quick update on that, the Lorraine Smith Assembly Room is basically just getting repainted and recarpeted. It's not going to get overhauled the way that Dr. Semmel had originally intended. So that accelerates that process of replacing the TriCaster, which is good.
So what's the timeline for, because Jeff, I think you know that they somehow approved this under the town side of the budget.
Correct.
And I keep getting emails from Dan Martin saying, when are you gonna spend this money?
Yeah, I've spoken to Dan a few times.
Jeff, I'm like, I'll keep trying to give you information, but you could also just email Jeff. if you wanted to.
Last time I talked to him, I told him we're waiting for the dust to settle. I'm not sure what direction the construction is going to go into. Because of the 8th board member, they wanted to whiten the stage. They were taking the platform out. They're cutting the stage back. There was just too much going on. I didn't want to do anything or spend any taxpayer money, not knowing where we were. So now at least everything's settled.
Okay,
I know exactly what's happening. The quote's going to be a lot less. We're going to use existing microphones. We're changing the cameras. We're adding streaming function to the TriCaster. I think it's going to be a great system.
so you think it'll be up and running by the beginning of the next school year?
I hope so. The representative from DNR, Rob, mentioned that some of the equipment is 6 to 8 months out. Yes.
So wait, you said you don't think they need microphones? I mean, the audio is what's so terrible.
Well, it's not integrated. The audio is coming
Because-
off a web camera. That's
Yeah.
coming off the mounted speakers on the side. It was all thrown together during COVID. Hasn't changed since.
It's the equivalent, Kate, of us just putting a camera on a tripod. It's not a direct feed, but what the camera, previously when we had a running TriCaster, the audio was feeding into that system. So that's what was going out. So that's what's going to happen in the future. So the audio is going to directly feed into the program feed. And that
That's the
actually
amplifier, right?
And that actually brings up another issue, Kate, because with the live streaming, what Rob from DNR had recommended, and Ryan and I agree, is that it makes more sense to have one videographer running the meeting and recording the meeting and running the TriCaster, and then having a second person run the streaming switcher, because these are going to be hybrid meetings. So, and this is probably something that's going to come up in council chambers as well, because I know Bill is looking to replace the council chambers TriCaster system to something that can stream. And Rob had recommended, like I said, having a second operator run the stream, because, again, it's a lot. You're looking at camera angles, you're zooming in and centering a camera and taking a shot, and then you want somebody else to manage the stream feed as the speaker. It's just too many balls to juggle, and it's just too much of a chance of, you shouldn't have to focus on that many things at once for one person. So that brings up the financial issue of, we're going to need 2 people at these meetings. So I don't know how that's going to work.
We have never spent our entire videography budget.
Right. So
Ever.
knowing that, I knew that, and I did mention that, like to Ryan yesterday, like we've never spent our whole videography budget. So at least there's that. So
It'll also be very useful to have, so that the person who's running the stream will be listening and viewing what the viewers at home see and hear or not. So the audio, the person with the video responsibility can't do the audio at the same time. It's in my opinion, it's too much to ask from one person. So that makes perfect sense to have 2 people there.
But I think this just underscores that we're going to need more videographers. So if any stuff in town council and the Board of Ed meetings are going to require 2 people, I think the more immediate issue is, are we going to have the people? And then I'm pretty confident the budget will be adequate, but I also feel like if we were start to run low, that is something that we could easily get approval to get more money if we needed it.
Right.
Bill, I'm not sure if you're still in the picture, if that happens on the Board of Ed meeting or not. Typically, I know you send all the invites out, you're the host. I'm not sure if that responsibility will move to the second person or not. Laura, maybe or Matt, maybe better.
Again, that's the discussion that Bill and I have had, as far as like, who, there needs to be a discussion over like ownership and where that lies, and who's responsible for what aspect of the meetings, because traditionally TCTV has been responsible for recording it and getting it on the air, and now more of the responsibility is shifting onto us as far as getting it onto a streaming it onto a platform. But again, it's like Bill has been doing a tremendous amount of that, for which we are eternally grateful. And so it's like, like I said, where's the ownership? Where are the lines drawn? And who owns what? I think because they've been kind of fluid at this point, just out of necessity. So Jeff, I mean, that's, like I said, that's just a bigger discussion, especially once the town meetings come up, and then,
Right.
you know, it also kind of expands into, you know, are all the meetings, we can't have all the meetings in council chambers because there are nights where there are concurrent meetings. So then how do we stream, you know, do we stream those other meetings? And if we do, how do we do that? Because, you know, again, every board and commission seems to have wanted to have hybrid meetings. So again, it becomes a bigger discussion of, you know, which ones do we do and how do we do that? Because, you know, there's finite resources in terms of people and technology.
Correct. And we have been using the OWL for Board of Finance meetings, Board of Ed finance meetings here at Long Hill with Google Meet, and it seems to work okay. I believe we streamed it, what's today, Thursday, Tuesday, and recorded it as well. So if you don't have the stream, Laura, it's on its way.
Okay, thank you.
Recording.
Yeah, because, yeah, I'm curious to see that just as an option for, you know, like say the senior commission when they meet at the senior center, or the health board when they meet at their building. So that may be an option for the station.
Or other rooms at town hall. I mean, Bill, what are you thinking?
The
Yeah,
OWL really-
you know, I haven't seen it in action. I've seen the demos and whatever. It would certainly provide an option for us. So we are definitely looking to use some ARPA money to fund equipment for town hall conference rooms outside the chambers. So that could be an option, or we can choose to put, you know, cameras in like we have at the council chambers.
Yeah, if you want to see it, Bill, give me a ring and come on over. It's in, leaving it set up in the middle of the table in Ellie's conference room down by HR. And we've used it a couple times already, and it seems to work really well. And you get a nice 360-degree angle of the room and recording, as well as it locks onto the audio in the same area the person's speaking. So it's nice.
Yeah, I've seen it in corporate settings on a couple of boards that I sit on, and it's fantastic.
It is. It really is.
Bill, when I get the video link from Jeff, I'll send it to you just so we can all take a look at the output and see if that's something that, you know, makes it's from a, you know, again, from a viewer standpoint, like Ryan and I could take a look at the feed and just make sure that that would be appropriate to put on the station. And then Bill, you can see if that, you know, is usable on your end.
Great, sounds great.
Okay, so we sort of rolled over to technology, but I just want to finish up the programming discussion, Laura. So anything else you want to share of either what has happened in the last month and a half or what is coming up?
No, we just, like I said, we've been recording, well, the concert season just started last night. So that's underway for schools anyway. And then we've had a lot of sports events being recorded. And again, there's a ton of them, and it's, you know, whenever videographers are ready, some things that we've learned a lot along the way, as Ryan will attest to. You know, we need to just things, you know, again, things that just come up over time. We need to give windscreens in all the camera bags to people who record sports. We need the rain equipment, you know, which we were able to order. Thank you. You know, just like I said, things like that. It's just stuff that's been happening because we haven't been doing it for a couple of years. And so going through the studio, we're like, wait, I thought we had X and it's not there. So we've, you know, just had to replenish, excuse me, certain things. But it's good because now everything, you know, Ryan and I now know what we have. You know, there are things that we've picked out. Ryan has, you know, ordered some technical stuff that I'll let him touch on. But in terms of programming, you know, like Richie had pointed out, he's been super helpful because the senior center now, there's Sunday concerts and the gazebo concerts are coming up. So I just need to confirm that we can record those, which we have in the past. So then we'll get back to having those weekly musical events. The library has been having some events that they've been really cooperative about sharing with us. They've been doing a series with other libraries in the county called Dinner Disrupted. And it's just about, you know, sourcing our food. So it's been everything from how we shop for groceries, you know, how climate change is affecting how we eat, you know, zoning. One was about, you know, zoning in the area and how land, you know, land zoning regulations affect food supply. So that's been, they've all been online, but again, the library's been very helpful in terms of sharing their content with us. This past month, I never got in touch with the senior center, but that, you know, again, stuff happens, everybody's busy. And that's pretty much where we're at.
So last time we talked about last minute requests for, you know, meetings that happen. And we were talking about how we need town hall to give, you know, the clerks to give us as much, you know, notice as possible. Has that improved? We were going to like reach out to all the clerks.
It depends. I think a lot of things have changed last minute. Like, you know, for instance, I was away last week, so I wasn't able to check the website, you know, the town website to see what meetings were in person and what weren't. So sometimes things change from in person to virtual. But
So Bill, you were going to get us a list of the clerks. Should I just go to Cindy or
Cindy, to be fair, Cindy has been very good about saying, hey, just a reminder, this meeting is in person tonight. But again,
no, but what we want is the clerks to tell us, right? So I
Right.
think an email to the clerks is just, can we get a list of them with their emails?
I will say, Gia, I forget her last name, Mentillo, she works with economic development and one other commission. She's been great. I apologize for the last minute notice, but can you please have a videographer for economic and community development? She's been very on top of them. Trying to think, I've been getting a lot of emails from Barbara Crandall, but again, like it's not, and then I did get one from the health department saying, we're going to be virtual until such and such a date.
I just think us having a list of the clerks so we can every other month remind them all at one time.
Yeah.
If something changes, you got to let us know. So, Bill, is it easier for you to get this or for me to go chase it out at the first time?
I thought I had asked.
I know you did, Bill.
I can go to Kathy or Alicia or Cindy. Is that
Patty Luck is the best person to talk to.
Who's the best person?
Patty.
Patty. Okay, yes, I will ask her.
I have a program related question or comment. Some of the meetings that we cover are getting increasingly aggressive, you know, very confrontational. And do we have any position on what to do if the chair of let's say a BOE meeting that Lucinda says the meeting is closed? Do we keep filming the discussion afterwards, or do we stop streaming? What do we do if something escalates into chaos?
Well, as long as they're not, I mean, if they go into an executive session, obviously we can't record.
Right.
If they adjourn, if they adjourn a meeting, then, you know, per policy, we're supposed to stop. But, you know, do we need to, is that something we need to revisit? And then actually, Jens, you also bring up another point where, again, you know, with the Facebook commentary, I had gotten a nasty gram from somebody saying she was doxxed, which, I mean, I understand where she was coming from, but to be fair, there was no security on her Facebook profile. I went to it just out of curiosity, and I could read everything about it. No, TCTV isn't the appropriate place to put information about people. And Bill and I do the best job we can in terms of hiding Facebook comments, but we're human.
I wasn't even aware of that issue. It was just, if there is a policy to stop covering the meeting when the meeting ends, then that's fine. I wasn't aware of that. And I'm glad I brought it up.
Our policy has never been that specific. I think we just assumed the meeting's over, then we're done recording.
Gavel to gavel coverage.
But you could see it would this is completely crazy, but it would be really interesting for people to watch what goes on after the meeting has been closed. And, you know, people go crazy, start yelling, get into fights. Are we covering that, or should we just stop recording?
I don't know if that, I mean,
I don't think that's, I think we have to stick to the meeting coverage.
Okay.
Not a news channel, right?
Right. Right, I agree, because again, I think ethically, like, our position has always been, we cover meetings gavel to gavel with the exception of executive sessions. I don't know that, I mean, I'm sure there are going to be people who are going to be recording it on their phones. And
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have, or we have a policy, and as long as everyone knows that's the policy, then
Right.
we'll stop recording, we'll stop streaming when the meeting is over, officially over.
Right.
I,
That,
I agree. I mean, I didn't know that there was things that were happening after the meeting. But it sounds like it's reasonable to stop videoing, when the gavel hits the desk.
And even if it's not specifically in our policy, that's the intent of our
Right,
policy.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
for sure.
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think to
That
my
makes,
knowledge,
that
yeah.
makes total sense.
And I don't know that that's happened, Jens, in any official meetings that we record. I was at a meeting that we don't record, that's not a government meeting, but it's like a town-wide, where something like that did happen.
Right.
But-
I mean, I guess that's what brought it to my
We're not gonna go, yeah, we're not gonna go run in the parking lot.
we should just all understand what our policy, or what our
Right.
best practice is for
Maybe
something.
that's something we need to recommunicate to all our videographers.
Yeah.
If he's gavelled out, we stop recording.
And that's never been an issue. Our videographers are all aware. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't reiterate that and just remind them, like, things are getting a little crazy,
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of the Board of Ed meetings were a little contentious a few weeks ago, right, a month ago.
Yeah.
I believe we just, Bill, I don't remember exactly what we did. I'm not sure if we just shut it down, stop recording. The chair was adamant about.
No, the Board of Ed meetings have just gone on, and we only see the Board of Ed members, so we don't see the audience because that's all behind the camera.
right?
But can you
But-
hear them?
If they're excessively loud. You can hear grumbling and stuff, but it's not like you can make out a conversation.
Okay, I'm fine with that. When the meeting is over, we stop streaming or recording.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
Kate, I just forwarded you the list of clerks.
Oh, thanks, Bill. Thank you very much. When an item gets done before the end of the meeting, that's my kind of meeting. Okay, anything else on programming?
Nothing that I can think of. I mean, we're just, everything is just.
Oh, last thing, the Pinewood Lake Theater piece.
Yes, the only thing I have to do is polish up the titles. The good news is the history chair at the association is not in a rush. I just, I've been working on that one. I've had downtime. So I just need to pretty up the titles, and then that will be done. It's a nice little half-hour piece. It's actually a really interesting history in town.
But we should do a world premiere. I mean, we should be pushing it on the website and,
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe Twittering it or whatever else we can do to, world premiere. Did you know that Pinewood Lake was a theater mecca? Might be a too strong word, but whatever.
Well, what was it? The group theater, which was Stella Adler and why am I blanking now? But all the old method actors, back in the day. I mean, this was their summer home, which
So
is
we gotta pump it up a little bit. I
all
think,
right. I'll go tease it on some social media.
and with the world premiere date, get a watch party together, whatever. Trumbull is famous for more than the, Little League champion.
Oh, yeah. Did you know that Trumbull was a theater mecca before the
I like that. We need to find our claims to fame wherever we can.
right? Well, they tried to make it, it was supposed to be like the Catskills of Connecticut.
Well, and I kind of like the idea of, I don't know, going shoulder to shoulder with the Shakespeare Theater in Stratford.
There you go.
At least ours didn't burn down, so.
Yeah, well, shh. That building is, it's actually DNR, so because it's that old and out of code, but they're actually, the reason why we did this whole project is because they're renovating it because it was so old. So the association voted, it was interesting because it's very similar to watching the town budgets play out. So the association took out a 30-year mortgage that is going to cost every member $40 a year on top of their membership dues for the next 30 years. And it passed by a 2/3 margin because who wants to be the membership that let this building fall to pieces? So they've redone the roof, they've put in new windows so far, they're gonna redo the inside except for the theater so that it's up to code. So it's gonna be like a four-season space. So
Nice.
I'm really excited because it's literally like 5 houses down the street from me. So
Wow, very cool.
yeah, it'll be very cool. And the history is really neat too. Like, I don't know if any of you guys saw Revolutionary Road with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Do you remember the scene when they were dancing at the juke joint? They were like at a nightclub where they were dancing. That's the Pinewood Lake Clubhouse. So like,
Wow.
I have pictures.
wow.
Yeah, I have pictures when my senior was about 2.5, 3 years old, and my freshman was like 6 months old, of them when they had like all the antique cars in the parking lot, and they had set up the inside of the clubhouse to look like a bar. It was very cool. We still have, yeah, and then like the little booths that they built are still up there. So it's very neat.
Okay, so let's move on to technical. So
Take it away, Ryan.
Frontier and Studio Encoder status. The last time we said that equipment had been installed, we still need the training, and we need clarification if the Blackmagic Video Studio was replaced and paid for.
That we were trained. The studio hub was replaced. And I have an email that Tim said that that's included in the cost. After much, requests like, hey, Tim, what's going on? So, because Kate, I remember that we didn't pay until we had clarification.
Yep.
So that's all done, because I know that Rob from DNR was asking, oh, what's going on with that? And I just said, we weren't sure if the replacement was part of that package, and it was.
Okay. So then we have the Board of Ed TriCaster, which we talked about earlier.
Yep.
So anything else to add on that, Jeff?
No, I'll have the bid out next week. I already talked to DNR. I talked to R&B Enterprises and Okers.
Okay.
We'll get that out. I get all the paperwork done through Kevin Bova at the town. I'm hoping it comes in a lot lower than the last quote. Although we did remove the extra wireless microphone,
Microphones.
which was a big chunk of money. It was close to $20,000. So the existing gooseneck mics work. I think the amplifier, the speakers are fine. So there's a lot of things that we can use in our existing system right now.
Jeff, DNR wanted to replace those wired mics with wireless mics, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Ryan is shaking his head. No, we were like, let's not, no.
So you, Laura, you and Ryan were going to go over and take a look and see if there's anything we could do about the current system in the interim. Did you guys do that?
We were over there, beyond what's happening now, as I recall. I think Katie and Jens and I went over a while back, and it was just it's the same issue, well, a similar issue as in town council, where the system is just too old to support streaming.
Right.
I think we were going to try to see if we could do anything about the audio problem and how bad it is. So there's really no.
Unfortunately, there's nothing we could do about it right now, because like I said, they've, Jeff and Michelle, to their credit, have MacGyvered a situation that's not perfect, but it works. But like I said, the audio is like the equivalent of, putting a camera on a tripod and just recording the meeting as it happens. So.
Okay,
Jeff
so
has his hands up, but you're muted, Jeff. Can't hear you.
Jeff, I'm sorry, you were
All
muted.
that animation, and I was muted. Oh. Yeah, we took the speakers in the room and angled them towards the webcam microphone. Got a little better, but we need a direct input for audio.
Yeah.
Okay, then the studio, Ryan.
Yes.
So we've gotten rid of stuff. We needed some stuff. So where are we on all of that?
I mean, the stuff we needed is in the mail. It's kind of, I guess, past the raining season, I guess. I don't know. It probably still will rain again before sports are over. So hopefully the rain gear gets here before we actually need it. For the time being, we have, you know, garbage bags and stuff to protect the cameras need be, but like I had mentioned in one of my emails, we were short on microphones that we mount on the cameras. One of them was corroding, and another one, the connections were, I guess, loose or something. I haven't been, I opened it up, but I haven't been able to try to fix it. So I recommended we order 2 more, and we did. As far as the lights go, the 2 we ordered functioned perfectly with our board. So I was originally thinking we might need to change the control board that we had, but it'll work for what we need to do. And the actual nuts and bolts that hang the lights, we needed to buy more of, which we did, because before it was basically held up with like a clamp and no safety, which is dangerous in case they fell. So we fixed that. Besides that, we just got like tape and new XLR cords for the cameras, and I think that was everything that we bought. I might be missing.
A while back, we also got a couple more wireless labs, so that if we had a panel of say 4 people, like when we do the election show next, we'll be able to mic everybody, hopefully everybody, like 2 people at an anchor desk. And then, you know, if how we had the kids come in previously to do their thing, they can be mic'd as well. And now that the studio encoder has been fixed, we can actually sit in the control room and do it normally instead of, again, MacGyvering another solution, which we've actually gotten pretty good at, but.
Yep.
Okay, so what else do we feel like we need?
Well, we've discussed this already, but we've got the streaming server in process, which means the feed that goes out over the channel, I'm getting 3 quotes. DNR had spec'd it out, and I'm waiting to hear from HB, which is now Diversified One, and Ockers to get quotes. And because we need to order a server that's, you know, that what it does. So what it does is, rather than, like Jens, your concern was bogging down Trumbull Public Schools wireless, you know, for streaming their Wi-Fi network. So what this server does is offloads, it handles all the streams. So Trumbull Public Schools Wi-Fi network won't be choked by those requests.
So my concern was if we were streaming 24/7, you know, like
Right.
we do on the channel. So if not just for, you know, Facebook streaming or stuff like that.
Right, because what this service will do that we're, you know, that we're planning to install is to do just that. We can stream 24/7 through it, you know, like through a Roku channel. If you have a
Okay.
smart TV, you can download the channel and then watch TCTV without cable. You can download an app on your smartphone on either iOS or Android. And again, rather than bog down Trumbull Public Schools network, this server will handle that 24-hour streaming. And then we can also put it on our website, so people can watch the 24-hour stream, or they can watch programming on demand through that app. And then we will have that functionality. Right now, we just have VOD functionality on our website, but we will also have 24-hour viewing on our website, because as you all know, lots of people are cutting cable. So this is part of the station's goal to, you know, meet viewers where they are. So that's what this process is. The hardware is about $5,500, I think, but of course, you know, installation and training and wiring and all that stuff. I think it comes to, Kate, it's about between $8,500 and $9,000. So like I said, DNR has the quote. I know that my contact from HB is getting that. They've been talking to my contact over at Cablecast, which is our programming scheduling software company. So that's the company who pushes the shows to Charter and Frontier, and then they'll be pushing it via stream as well. So we just need those quotes, and then we can move forward with that.
So the
I think
plan
that's a great
is, since we've
investment.
used our capital money up for this fiscal year, is to try to divert the videographer money that we haven't spent to this, but they're telling me I have to not only get the bid in before the end of the fiscal year, we have to get the equipment. Now, at least DNR said 2 to 3 week lead time. So that seems doable, but we need to get the other quotes in ASAP. I have to have those in hand before I can go to the Board of Finance and ask them to move the money from one account to another. And their next meeting is the middle of May. So that literally would leave us 6 weeks to order and get this in. So I would say, Laura, as we get these quotes together, we look back with Kevin and Dan and make sure we understand the process. So literally, I go and beg the Board of Finance. I can't see why they wouldn't allow us to redirect the money. And literally the next day we drop the PO.
That sounds like a plan. I know that
Okay.
I've been in touch with HB because he's had some questions, and I gave him the name of our Cablecast sales rep. And then I know that Gary Ockers had responded as well. So I will, today when I'm back in the studio, I will make sure that I'm following up with those guys.
Okay.
And that Jens, I'm sorry, you had a question too about it, or?
No, I just said it was a good investment.
Yeah, the hardware is an investment, and then there's an annual, like everything else, there's an annual subscription fee. So, and we've opted not to do the Cablecast salesperson said, don't do the custom, because the custom channel, there's an upcharge for that. Because once you've programmed, if you download the app, once you've programmed it to pull Trumbull, you don't need to go back in and do that every time. So he's like, it's really not worth it for what you guys are doing. Okay.
So I need to find out what happens if we order it and it doesn't come in by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'll find that out and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So Bill, is the council chambers TriCaster that we keep calling it, is that still on the ARPA list?
Yes, that's still on the ARPA list.
And so when do you actually get to spend the ARPA money?
Though that hasn't been allocated yet. So I think First Selectman would like the Board of Finance and Town Council to have a say in what gets spent. So the project list is being put together, and that's going to be presented, I think, shortly after this budget season ends.
So is there anything we can do to help support, that keeping that on the list?
I'm pretty sure it's a priority. So I think it's going to move forward. I don't have any reservations as to we need support or help. So,
but you'll let us know if you reach a point where you think we need to do some lobbying or something.
yeah, we'll do.
Okay, you might want to check with the expert you have there.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It's always nice to have a helper when you're in meetings.
Okay, anything else on technical stuff? Anything else, Ryan, that you've discovered that we need to address?
Not in particular. I'll send you an email as it comes up.
Well, so far we've been able to fulfill all your requests, and I feel, I really feel like you're picking at, every little place to, even if it's tape or, some of the stuff isn't that expensive, but it's clearly going to help us operate better. So really appreciate, boy, the attention to detail and going through everything. Just great job.
Absolutely. I got to toot Ryan's horn again, because he cleaned out the studio. It looks like a completely different space. It's awesome. It's so nice to have, his expertise, because I, for a while was just focused on getting through the day and getting the shows up. And he's been able to tend to so many of the things that I either didn't have time and I just plain don't have the expertise on. So it's definitely much appreciated. Yes.
Kudos.
We vote to keep him.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Can I also vote on that?
No.
I do have a tough question, I guess. It's a kind of a two-part. So Trumble's high school Wi-Fi blocks TikTok, as well as other apps like Discord and stuff for sake of keeping students off of them.
Mhm,
for all that works.
that's correct.
That extends to us. And I know we had mentioned that we want to be posting on social media more for just like broad content. I don't know if there's any way for us to allow special permissions for some devices to be able to use these on the Wi-Fi. Otherwise, we'll have to like go to another source of Wi-Fi, like Town Hall or something, to upload to these platforms. I don't know if that's something that can happen.
I have to look into that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I can't make a decision right now. I mean, there's certain content we have to filter. There's certain sites that the board and the superintendent want blocked, obviously. The police department wants some sites blocked. I mean, it needs some figuring, that's for sure.
Okay. And then secondly, in the event that the school is closed and we're unable to get in to either upload a video or edit a video, I had talked to Lara about maybe having a computer set up either in Town Hall or in Long Hill that can be used as a remote editing station. That way, if in the event that we're not able to get into the school to get content up, we'll actually have somewhere like as a failsafe just in case.
Mhm.
And that's, again, I have my own machine but Ryan, he's got a machine, but for some reason Creative Cloud, which is all the editing software that we use, doesn't seem to be compatible. And, like Ryan shouldn't have to like buy a machine to work from home. So I think that's a great solution, just to have like a backup space outside the high school.
Yeah.
Or,
You
either
can-
that or some kind of machine, like I don't know if there's a laptop that could support that, Jeff, that Ryan would be able to use in that event.
I could certainly look into it. Now, are you going directly to, I mean, you're not looking for a VPN connection, right? Looking for remote login to the server, you're looking for a remote login to
Yeah, so
the
he could log,
streaming?
he could log into Creative, just a laptop that he can bring home, like if he needs to edit and use Creative Cloud, through and check his email. The trouble,
His
yes.
Email's web-based, so you can get that anywhere. I just need a little more specifics on what machines you're gonna need access to.
I'm more thinking like something that lives in either Town Hall or Long Hill that has the Adobe Suite on it and that can connect to the Cablecast server, just specifically for editing. Because I can check my email and all that from my phone. It's just the Creative Cloud has given me problems with my personal computer at home, which I'm still hoping to figure out. But in the event that I am unable,
All right, let's hook up next week.
Sure.
Look at.
All right, so Ryan, can you follow up via email on both of those items with Jeff and see if we can figure it out?
Definitely.
And I guess the question would be, going back to the TikTok thing, if it's blocked at Trumbull High, if he had another place to work at Town Hall or at Long Hill, is TikTok blocked there?
Yes. Block globally on our network, correct.
On the Trumbull
Hall,
Public
I don't-
Schools, on the public schools network or on the town's network?
I don't believe it's blocked. You filtered on the town side?
We don't block sites on the town network. It's not as restrictive as
Right.
the student network at your school.
So it's two different things then. Where could you access TikTok? And then the separate issue is how do you get remote access to the Cablecast editor?
Correct.
Which would be inside the school network, right? Or would you still need to be inside the school network to do the TikTok promotion that you want to do?
I believe so. Just to upload to TikTok, because using the service would need access. And I guess that could happen at Town Hall. But what I'm more saying is just having the Creative Cloud editing suite somewhere isn't the school as a failsafe, just in case the school is locked. Because I've ran into that already where I wasn't able to get in the school on like Good Friday or something like that.
Was that ever approached again with the principal and or the superintendent's office?
Mark had called me at one point, and I said, yes, please, let's sit down and meet and discuss this. And then I've never,
So can we follow up again on that?
Yeah.
I mean, so Jeff, would the building have been completely closed on Good Friday?
It's very possible. My suggestion would
Like
be.
that's
to
like
have around-
one day a year that you can't get in there?
Yeah, typically it's not closed at all. I mean, it's usually open all weekend for sports and everything else. That's
Right.
manned all
And
day
I-
long and usually till 11 o'clock at night.
I mean, and I asked Scott Sikora at the high school too. I don't know if they're like, there doesn't seem to be a list of dates where the building is flat out closed, yet there are times when it is flat out closed.
Right? My suggestion to Laura and Ryan was drive around back. If the custodial cars are, the building's open. If there's no cars, there's nobody in
Yeah.
the building.
It would just be nice to know so we don't even have to get into our cars to drive over.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, yeah, it's up to the security of
Yeah.
the district. I mean,
So why don't you talk to Todd about that as well and see, does it have to go all the way up to Guarino, or can Todd help you solve that?
Okay,
And then,
We also talked about this in, in snowstorms and things like that. So remote
Right.
access really is important.
yeah,
I'm wondering if you could do a remote desktop into the machine in the office that has all this stuff installed, that would work. But I don't know if the firewall or the network
Yeah.
policy will allow you to do that. But that would solve the problem.
that would be VPN access right to the desktop.
Okay.
and is that doable or not?
I gotta check on that.
All right, well, Laura and Brian, follow up, so you
Yep.
make sure you're clear about what the issue is and what the options are and how hard it will be to execute either within the school policy or if there's another option that
right. Okay, thank
achieves
you.
the same goal.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, and shoot me an email, Ryan. Okay,
Okay, what else? What else we got? On technical. Okay, then let's move on to marketing. Jim was going to contact Rena about getting contact info for the mall. Since he's not on, I don't know if that was accomplished. We had talked about, we had quite a conversation about social media, getting more people on the website through Instagram, making the website more user-friendly, giving people a way to sign up and get notifications from us, doing short-form videos. He said Facebook has that capability.
yes.
So I don't know if we moved ahead on any of those things. And if we can move ahead on any of them, maybe over the summer might be
The summer is probably the best time because that's when, a lot of the meetings and the summer events tends to calm down and, we can sort of breathe and regroup and hopefully by that point, the OTT channel will be in process so we can start to use that as some content generation, like, oh, look, here's the server going into the server rack and here's the switch turning on and, that kind of stuff.
All right, well, our next meeting is June 16th, so
That's graduation, isn't it?
you said graduation was,
I think it is.
I think that's graduation.
oh yeah, okay. So what time is graduation?
I don't know, but they're gonna make a call by 11, whether it's inside or outside. So that's gonna be a long day for us.
So do we want to move the meeting?
If we could, that would probably be best, because I know last year on graduation day, I was pretty preoccupied.
Okay, so let's see. So that is a Thursday.
And then I think the following Tuesday is the last official day of classes. Is that right, Jeff? Is June 21st the last day for kids?
students, last 2 days. Yes, yes. 21st.
21st is the last day of
Yep.
school for students. Maybe the 14th, the Tuesday prior to meet.
Just see. I'm gonna be away.
Do we want to meet before graduation or after? I mean, does that matter to the commission?
I think the only thing that I'm thinking about is the end of the fiscal year is June 30th. So it would be, I would want to meet sometime in June just to make sure anything that we wanted to get done by the end of the year, we get done. So your call as to whether we go earlier or later. Then
I don't have a preference. Like I said, I just know that the 16th is graduation and the 21st is the last day of school for kids. So that just, having younger kids in the school, it might be a little crazy that day.
So what if we went earlier? Like
Well, at
in
least that
6
way-
weeks, like the 9th, maybe.
That works for me. I mean, I think that might be helpful too, because then that gives us 3 weeks prior to the wrap up of the year. So if there's anything we do need to address, that gives us some time. It gives Ryan and I some time to like get our ducks in a row if we have to.
Can people see their calendars that are at least on this call and see if that's going to work for them?
The 9th.
Yeah. I kind of like
As
the
of right,
idea.
yeah,
Going
as of
early.
right now, it looks okay.
That's okay.
I kind of like the idea of going earlier, just so if we have anything to scramble to get done by the end of the year, we
can
do it.
Works for me.
All right. so
I'd rather do that than have a week to get everything together.
Yeah, so that's moving it up just a week. Okay.
Okay.
And then that's if you have anything that you need from us for the graduation or additional help, we've got time to do it. Okay.
Right.
All right. So then Laura, though, the idea would be to say, okay, on some of these marketing things, that we're not going to really get a chance to deal with until after graduation, then what's our summer plan? Like what?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And that gives, at least that gives Ryan and I some marching orders or some framework as to what we want to address.
And then maybe if at that June meeting, you can talk a little bit about what does that look like? Is there, do we have to do something to the website first, or can we start this process of collecting, giving people a way to be part of our list or.
Right. I mean, I'd also like to, the other feedback that I'd like to get is like, what about the website needs to be more user friendly? I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, we can make it prettier. Like what functionality is not there? Like if you guys could take even like 5-10 minutes, take a look at the website and just make some notes, like what's missing, like what should be there that's not there, what's there that's not necessary. Obviously things can be made prettier, colors can change and all that stuff. That's super easy to do. But I think more in terms of like what needs to be top level information, what stuff is okay to have to drill down a couple layers to get to, you know what I mean? Just in terms of.
So I'm just like looking at the website right now, and I would kind of want on the home page, like, where do you get us, right? What are your options for platforms? So yeah, I think if everybody could take a look, and I mean, I like the way it looks right now. It definitely improved the look. But if everybody could take a look and start giving Laura and Ryan some feedback.
Yeah, because it says, like, if you scroll down below the menu bar on the right-hand side, it says Trumbull Community Television Broadcast Availability. TCT is available. So maybe we change that based on the changes that we're making. Like what kinds of, yeah, exactly. What kinds of things should be on the homepage?
And then how should we be expressing it? Because when I read that, I guess I just didn't, I don't know. I don't know if we need to make sure we're using the right terminology.
And, and again, some of it in terms of like maybe it needs to be more prominent. Maybe maybe the videos don't need to be as front and center because people are used to certain things, and like I said, I would like your feedback because I look at that site every day. So, when you see something every day, When you see something every day, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't see what's not, you know, I don't see it the
Yeah,
way.
what's hard to find or what's, you know, confusing or whatever. So yeah.
I navigate it every day. I know where everything is. For me, that's not a big deal, but for you guys who are not on it every day, what do you wish were on the homepage? What is not, what is on the homepage but isn't prominent enough? Maybe, you know, maybe all the videos of how to are under a separate tab, like how to, you know, and then we direct people to that stuff.
And Laura, maybe you can also, because, you know, the challenge is, right, we've got so many generations we're trying to serve here,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
We, you know, the boomers that, you know, we may not be as sophisticated in our ability to find stuff. You got parents who are
Yep.
going to be more likely millennials now. You know, how do we,
And then us Gen Xers who are just,
yeah, we're meeting people where they are, but are we also communicating to people in the way that they're used to being, you know,
Right,
that they expect to be communicated with now? And
Yeah.
Brian, you got to help us with this, right? So
we need like a separate button, like boomers click here. Gen X
boomers,
click here.
press here. No,
In
you
big
have to
letters,
left click.
Yeah, no boomer in like big letters on a big button.
I'm offended by that.
No, I am that. So
Yes, I'm Gen X. No one ever thinks about us. So, you know, at least you're being acknowledged.
so yeah, if we could do that, again, we want to make it easy for people to find all the ways that we're providing this information.
Right.
And in the words and the terms that they're used to using, so that they can stop laughing at us.
Watch TCTV on the regular. Yeah. My kids laugh at me. Yeah.
I gotta
On the
run,
boomer
guys.
button should be a picture of a TV with rabbit ears.
Yes, exactly.
Good
Yeah.
seeing you. I
And
gotta
Ryan's
run.
going, what's that?
A rotary phone. Yeah. We'll play the AOL dial-up monitor noise.
Yeah.
Jeff just blanked out. I think we knocked him over. Sorry, Jeff.
Bill left the room. He's so.
He's like, I can't deal with you people. But yeah, you know,
Okay.
that would be helpful to know, like I said, you know, just, and yeah, and I think, you know, once we add the channel, you know, the ability to watch on the website, obviously there's going to be, you know, watch right now, and, you know, that'll be some functionality too. So.
Okay, cool. Really good. All right. And then you said on the THS connection, you said you and Ryan are meeting with Todd next week or so. So
Yeah, on Wednesday, May 4th. So I've got a list of, you know, AV Club, our relationship with THS and Jen Amaturo, and then the school close dates. And I don't know if he's ready. I know he's been our contact for graduation. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about with Todd.
okay, so that's the end of my agenda. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about or bring up? Why are there 8 people and I only have a list of 7? Bill, Kate, Jens, Vince, Laura,
Where do you
my
see 8
intent.
people?
and me. Oh, I'm on the screen. Okay, got it.
I was gonna say, forgot Bill.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Okay, then I'm going to take a motion to end the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Okay, great. At 8:59. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
have a
Have a
good
good
day.
day. Bye.